This is the program that shows you the side of police chase videos they didn't want you to see. Bungled arrests, kamikaze crooks and cop-based carnage of all kinds. Welcome to Cops Uncut, the real car crash TV.
On my way.
Coming up on Cops Uncut. These youngsters relax on the front porch. These felons get all fired up. And this cop gets ripped at the roadside.
Taking off again.
America is a big place. There are thousands upon thousands of miles of highways and byways to drive down. And along with wearing baseball caps and chewing tobacco, the road trip is one of the great American traditions. Come summer vacation, college kids all over the country get some mates, get some beers, all pile into a car and head off in search of wild times and spectacular scenery, just like the guys in this rather swish-looking Lexus up ahead. But this lot had a brainwave and decided to go one step further by roping in a police escort for their trip. Having a cop car on your tail makes things so much easier when you're traveling across country. As soon as they see blue flashing lights in their mirrors, other road users will simply move aside and you can go as fast as you like. You can swerve onto the grass verge at the side of the road. You can veer dangerously into the path of oncoming traffic. And you can blatantly ignore red lights even at busy intersections. The world really is your oyster, and there's no better way of clocking up a decent amount of mileage every day. At this rate, these boys will have made it all the way from coast to coast by sundown. They may even be able to book adjoining rooms with the cops in some friendly little roadside motel. No matter how energetic you're feeling, though, you're gonna have to take some breaks during the day as well. Overtaking on a blind bend could be a sign that your designated driver is getting tired, although it's equally likely that your passengers need the toilet, the car needs some gas, or everybody just needs some fast food to line their stomachs before starting on the next six-pack. This lot can't seem to agree on where or when to stop though, which could end up causing them big problems. Good driving is all about being decisive, and the last thing you want is to have your passengers all shouting different opinions. The guy next to you wants a burger, the guy behind you wants some fried chicken, and the guy leaning out of the window wants a sick bag. Whatever you finally decide though, always remember to slow down before you turn off the main highway. If not, instead of pulling up to the counter at a drive-thru, you could end up on somebody's front porch. Then it's just every man for himself, through every available exit. Although even if you do manage to evade the cops, it's still going to be a very long bus ride home. Still to come in part one. There's a gunfight at the roadside corral, and this suspect stalls at the first hurdle. This cop is calling in the license plate of a pickup he's just caught speeding, but little does he know that this routine stop is going to turn very nasty indeed.
Georgia 1625, Adam George Sam. Speed.
At first, it would appear to be the usual couple of boozed-up country boys.
How you doing, sir?
All right, sir. I do something wrong?
Yeah, a little bit over on your speed. Well, you're going faster in that truck. You're gaining on him. Just need to see your driver's license and insurance. Go ahead and step out of the truck for me.
Sure enough, a quick search around the driver's seat comes up with this.
Open container of alcohol in the vehicle. That's not you?
As expected, this suspect isn't about to admit to drink driving. So as he tries to sort out his paperwork, the cop starts taking an interest in his passenger.
Who's that in the car? Who's that in the truck?
Friend.
A friend?
Yeah,
What's your friend's name?
Who's that?
I'm sorry? Francisco?
There's definitely something dodgy going on here, but this officer can't quite put his finger on it. When he asks a question like this next one, though, he shouldn't necessarily take the answer at face value.
You sure you don't have any weapons on you?
This guy is being as evasive as hell, and the more the cop searches him, the more likely it is that he's going to turn up something incriminating. And here it is, a tatty paper package that he drops on the ground in a hopeless attempt to make it disappear.
What's in there?
Weed.
What?
Weed.
Weed?
So that's one more item to add to a little window display of stimulants, and all the evidence he needs to make an arrest.
Bag full of drugs here. Take your jacket off. Put it out. Place your hands behind your back. You're under arrest. Stop. Stay in the car. Get in the car. Get in the car. Get in the car.
Miraculously, despite the suspects firing at point-blank range, this cop escaped with only minor bullet wounds. Pretty soon, his colleagues have arrived and paramedics are on hand to treat him at the roadside. It may be ironic, but this cop can be thankful that the men he pulled over were either too drunk or too stoned to shoot straight. Here it is at last, the vehicle we've all been waiting for. Yes, it's the big, disposable white van. Manufactured in China from the highest grade plastics and available for a knockdown price at your local pound shop. It's a good little runner, and the best thing is, once it's given up the ghost, you can simply throw it away and buy another. Having plastic windows can be a little tricky when it's windy, or sunny, or raining. Frankly, they're a bit of a pain whatever the weather, but the handy thing is, they're never going to get smashed. Remember though, a plastic van is only as good as its driver, so when you're attempting to second-guess the cops by accelerating away, try not to drop the clutch too soon. This deputy isn't sure whether to ask for a license or explain the basics of driving a car with a stick shift. Eventually, though, this learner driver remembers where he left his biting point and manages to get a surprising turn of speed out of his Jeep. As it turns out, he's wanted for parole violations in the Midwest, so he's already come a long way to get to Pinehurst, Georgia. And if it's going to keep the cops at bay, he's willing to take a few risks with this flimsy motor. But while all of this is going on, the Highway Patrol has been busy getting organized, and they're lying in wait just a few miles up the road. This cop may not have noticed that the freeway has gone from 3 lanes down to 2, but if you look carefully, you'll see that his colleagues are right on target. And not content with pointing just one gun at their suspect, officers are literally lining up to take aim like some sort of formation firing squad. The driver of this fragile five-door was having trouble seeing through his back screen. But he knew very well when the cops were on his tail. It didn't take much for them to put his vehicle beyond repair, and once they'd thrown it in the bin, it was time to throw him in a jail cell. As a cop, you should be prepared for every eventuality because you never know when your equipment is going to let you down. It could be that your patrol car has a flat tire or your gun gets jammed, so remember to carry spares just in case.
No, not till you get down fast.
In Deputy Richter's case, the integrity of his standard issue uniform has been called into question by the wing mirror of a passing car. Or, to put it more bluntly, he's got a hole in his trousers. So, time for a quick recap. Always try to carry an extra pair of strides in the trunk. Then, if you do get into any scrapes, you won't end up flying by the seat of your pants.
185 north or not.
Class dismissed.
Going after him. Go get him.
Police had latched on to this SUV for a routine traffic violation when they saw this little lot jump out and run off into the bushes. Now, you might think that Mum has just dropped her kids off at a friend's house, but those guys looked a little too adult-sized, and she didn't exactly kiss them goodbye like a caring mummy. Yes, you've guessed it, we're in border country. There are several million Mexicans just a few miles away who'll pay handsomely for a ticket to the land of the free, and the man who's willing to sell it to them is one Javier Rodriguez. Javier has worked as a custodian and crossing guard in the La Jolla School District for the past 24 years and, up until now, was looked upon as a fine, upstanding member of the community. Perhaps the wages weren't up to scratch, though, or maybe he'd become hooked on internet gambling because recently he's been making some money on the side as a part-time people smuggler. If only he'd remembered to renew the registration on his Ford Explorer, he might have been able to carry on leading a double life. But now his cover's been blown, and the longer he goes on running from the cops, the more guilty he looks. Just about the only option he's got now is to swap places with one of his clients and go and live in Mexico himself. But if the cop in this cruiser has got anything to do with it, that ain't gonna happen. An SUV is never the most maneuverable of things, and having been caught in two minds about turning left beneath this overpass, our man manages to get his wheels wedged between a couple of concrete posts. If he was hoping to be treated with kid gloves, he's about to be disappointed because this is more like WrestleMania. So now Javier is out for the count and out of a job. This nice young lady has just been caught driving the wrong way down a highway.
Driving the wrong way.
And after a quick lecture about the potential dangers of head-on collisions, she's marched off to sit in the back of a patrol car. She may seem harmless enough, but perhaps the deputy looking after her should be paying more attention. After all, just why is it that she's being so fidgety? It may look like she's practicing her yoga moves, but in reality, she's taking advantage of the fact that women tend to have small hands. Yes, with hardly any effort at all, this modern-day Houdini has just managed to extricate herself from a pair of handcuffs. Fortunately for her, this cop is such a gentleman, he's even left the back window open so she doesn't get too hot and stuffy. Time, as they say, for a sharp exit.
Just leave me alone! Don't touch me! Don't touch me! I got it on the phone!
She doesn't get very far, but she also doesn't waste any time in giving the cops a right earful.
All right, get back there.
Get back there.
It takes about 5 of them, but with a mixture of gentle persuasion and brute force, they do eventually manage to get her back into the patrol car. Except that when this officer opened the trunk rather than an incident report form, he should have been looking for a smaller pair of cuffs. Because as soon as the cops turn their backs, she wriggles her way out again. Well, they do say that if you're in a car, you should always switch to hands-free. This time, though, at least the deputy has remembered to close the window because although her hands aren't behind her back anymore, she's still stuck in the cruiser.
You're not getting out. It ain't gonna happen. No. You're under arrest.
This woman's abilities as an escape artist seem to be limited to handcuffs only, so she has to resort to the only other weapon at her disposal. In the hope that a human rights lawyer will get hold of this video, she does her best to pretend that the police are beating her up. This girl thought she could try a hand at a great escape, but she gave the cops such a headache, they had to shut her up with a court order.
Taking off again.
Still to come in part 2. This chase catches fire, and this Bobby makes a beeline for his suspect. Choose your wheels wisely. When you're looking to outrun the cops, there are all sorts of factors to take into account. Obviously, your getaway car should be fast, but it should also handle well for when you're taking corners at speed. And if the chase covers a lot of ground, fuel efficiency comes into play. After all, you don't want to run out of gas just before you reach the state line. So, did this dodgy geezer make the right choice at the showroom? Well, his wheels may not be particularly sporty, but they're pretty maneuverable in a tight spot. And after a slow start, he manages to put some distance between himself and his pursuer. But sometimes it's the simple things that can scupper you. In this case, his headlights are so poor, he doesn't notice this concrete crash barrier. Now there's plenty of light to see by, but that's because his car has burst into flames. So if you want to outdo this dimly lit dimwit, don't choose energy-saving bulbs. Because when you fire up your headlights, you could end up getting smoked.
Taking off again.
We're on board with the aptly named Ace Team. Okay, so he may only be a team of one, but this deputy is highly motivated. And with a crook coming in the opposite direction, he heads straight for the business end of things. Even with a fresh dent in his fender, this is no time to sit around feeling sorry for himself. With a move worthy of the Sweeney, he swings out onto the main road and volunteers to finish off the job.
Let me have it, 78. My car's already tore up.
Well, you back on up here. We're on 74 for the highway 85. Eastbound.
At least that's what we think he's asking permission for. These cops may speak English, but they're from the very deep south, so you'll probably need an interpreter to work out what they're saying. Now there's no one left between the Ace Team and his prey. He's got a license to pit, and he's gonna use it. First of all, though, he's got to catch up with the car in question, which involves accelerating to 90. Then there's the small matter of picking the correct spot to take him out. If there are too many cars around, he could be putting innocent bystanders at risk, but fortunately his colleagues are on hand to take care of that. Finally, he needs a long, straight run-in to take aim. This cop didn't just give his suspect a rap on the knuckles. He had him wrapped around a lamppost. So what have we learnt today on Cops Uncut? In a crash situation, use every available exit. Remember to mind your backside at the roadside. And if you're going to record dash cam evidence, make sure you don't put the time and date in the middle of the bloody screen. Be careful out there.